So you can slowly make it there when you're ready. Wow. And just let yourself come closer into the mat. You can really lay however is comfortable. The knees can be bent, they can be extended. The arms can be wherever you want them to be. If you want to open up the chest a little bit, you can bring the hands behind the head and press your elbows against the ground. That can feel nice. And you can take big cleansing breaths. You can take 3 of them. Inhaling, filling up the whole body. Exhaling and sighing it out. Communicating to the body. Or connecting back to the breath, back to the body. And on your next inhales, as you breathe in, really press your lower back against the mat and breathe into the back body. It might be easier if the knees are bent to do this. But you really exaggerate breathing into the back of the body, into the backs of the ribs, into the lower back, feeling the back body expanding with each inhale and releasing with each exhale. Let's take 3 more really big conscious breaths. And then you can just let your breath be natural, releasing too much control over the breath to see how it lands naturally. You can start to add some movements in the legs. You can windshield wiper the knees back and forth. And really paying attention to what's making contact with the mat as it makes contact with the mat. So massaging out the glutes, really releasing the lower back. The shoulders are relaxed, the face is relaxed. And then when you're ready to switch movements, you can hug the knees in toward the chest and do the similar thing, just rocking slowly, gently side to side. Now focusing the massaging more on your lower back. And a lot of times gas can be trapped in the back in these areas. So you can release whatever comes. Just focusing on your organs being massaged against the mat, on your muscles. And then you can keep your right knee where it is and then release your left foot to the ground. So your left leg is bent, kind of where it was before, but your right knee's hugged in. And then you can take some circles with your right knee, going big in one direction 5 times, and then switching directions 5 times. Just paying attention to the ball and socket joint in the hip. Getting any kinks or creaks out. Moving with your breath, letting the breath guide the movement. And then when you're ready, we can open up the hip even more. So come into your half happy baby. You can bring the sole of your right foot to point up toward the ceiling and keep pulling your right knee closer to the right armpit into the floor next to the armpit. And you can grab whatever's available, the outside edge of your right foot. So you can grab the big toes, the ankle, even just the thigh is fine. But pay attention to your left hip here as well. If your left hip is coming off the mat, bring that back down to the mat. So your whole sacrum should be flat against the mat. And you're really breathing into the right hip. On your inhales, point your foot a little bit more directly toward the ceiling. And on your exhales, pull your right shoulder back down to the mat and pull the knee closer to the armpit. Maybe even playing around with straightening out your right leg if you want to wake up the hamstrings a little bit. And pointing and flexing the foot if that feels good. There's 2 more breaths over here. Awesome. And then you can release your right foot and grab the outside of the right knee with the left hand and just come into a twist, a recline twist here. So you can do any version of the twist. You can cross your right leg over left so you're in twisted root. You can have the knees stacked on top of each other or the bottom leg straight, really whatever feels best. Both of your shoulders staying rooted toward the mat. And you can bring your gaze over the right shoulder if you want to twist up your neck as well. Softening the belly here, softening the outer edges of the hips as well. And the shoulders, even the left shoulder, softening that. And then you can start to guide your head and knees back to center. Untwist the legs. And just bring your lower back to the mat and just notice any difference in the sides of the body. And then when you're ready, we will switch sides. So you can hug your left knee in toward the chest and the sole of the right foot comes to the mat. And take some big circles with the left knee, starting to wake up the left hip. And maybe with the eyes closed, really picturing what it looks like with the ball and socket joint in your hip. Noticing when you hit any pops or creaks. Maybe exploring a little bit further in those areas. Going 5 times in each direction, as quickly or as slowly as you want. Staying with the breath. And then when you're feeling even on this side, you can come into that half happy baby. So the left foot points toward the ceiling, and you can reach for the outside edge of the foot, the toes, the ankle. And if you're reaching for the outside edge of the foot, your arm is in front of the knee, but on the outside of the foot. So kind of like grabbing that angle. Perfect. And again, noticing what the right hip is doing. Noticing if that hip starts to come off the ground at all, bringing that back down. Maybe even putting your hand there to emphasize that. As you inhale, really exaggerating the foot pointing toward the ceiling. And as you exhale, pulling the left shoulder to the ground, dragging the knee a little bit closer to the floor. Same thing as what you did on the other side. So maybe if you played around with straightening out the leg or pointing and flexing the foot, doing those things. You always want to do whatever we do to one side, we always want to do to the other so that we feel nice and even at the end of our practice. There's 2 more breaths over here. And then when you're ready, you can release your grip with the left hand and hold on to the outside edge of your left knee with the right hand and pull that across your body, coming into the recline twist on the other side. You can cross your right leg over left, maybe tucking the right foot under the left foot under the right knee. Or you can stack the knees on top of each other, whatever you did on the other side. Maybe gazing over the left shoulder. Soften both shoulders, soften both hips, soften the stomach. Relax the forehead, relax the jaw. And when you feel ready, you can gently guide the head and the knees to center. Maybe hug both knees into the chest and feel the evenness of your back, of your stomach. And then you can extend your legs long and raise one arm up alongside the ear and just roll onto your side, onto your stomach. So you're coming to lay on your belly. And you can bring your forehead to your stacked hands to make a little pillow there. So your face is looking straight down. Bend your knees in toward the bum and windshield wiper the legs back and forth just a few times so you can massage the belly even more. And then when you're ready, you can extend the legs long back behind you. Extend the arms long behind you as well, so that the tops of your hands are pressing into the mat alongside your thighs or hips, wherever they land. And the head can still be looking straight down. As you inhale, lift your chest and your heart. Push your big toes into the mat. So you're kind of in a baby cobra, but with your arms extended behind you. And then exhale, release the head. We'll do that 3 more times. So inhale to lift the heart, really pushing pubic bone, big toes into the mat, zipping up the legs. Exhale and release. Inhale to lift. Exhale to release. Inhale to lift. One more time. This time, let's hold it for a few breaths. Really pushing the pubic bone into the mat, pushing the thighs and the big toes into the mat. Maybe the knees lift because your legs are so fired up. Pressing in closer to each other. Lifting a little higher. One more breath. Exhale and release. You can bring one cheek to the mat. You can totally release the body to the ground. Maybe rock the hips side to side. And then we'll start to open up the chest and the heart a little bit more. So you can stay in whatever direction you're looking in and extend the opposite arm long so that the palm of the hand is on the ground and your shoulder or your hand is level with your shoulder. And then you can bend the hand that's in front of your face, bring that to the mat. And then start to push into the ground, rolling onto your right hip if you're on this side, rolling onto your hip, and then bending your top leg so that the sole of that foot comes to the ground behind your straight leg. That makes sense. Perfect. This broken wing pose. Really opening up the chest. You're taking a few big breaths here. Feeling this openness spread across the shoulder blades. And then you can release back down to the mat. Bring your opposite hip down. Bring opposite shoulder down. And then when you're ready, you can switch sides. So you can turn your head to the opposite side, extend the opposite arm, and then start to roll onto the other hip, bending that top leg, bringing the sole of the foot behind the straight leg. Awesome. Yeah. And feeling free to explore in this pose and any pose. Noticing what side feels different than the other. And then you can make your way back down to center when you're ready, when you feel even. Releasing here. And then you can bring your hands underneath your shoulders, keeping the elbows pointing up toward the ceiling and zipped up tight toward your ribs. Activate the belly. So pull the navel up toward the spine. Maybe the belly lifts. And then push into the ground. Bring yourself up to your tabletop position. Meeting with the wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Take a few cat-cows with your breath as you feel ready. And again, always practicing allowing your breath to guide the movement first. So as you inhale, that's the body's cue to start its movement. And same thing with your exhales. And spread your fingers a little bit wider, really start to activate the hands. Maybe push the tops of the feet into the mat, activating the shins and the legs so that you're grounded to the floor with purpose. Maybe taking some circles, maybe wagging the tail. And then to counter that stretch we just did on the floor, broken wing pose, we will come into our thread the needle. So this time, you can reach your right arm forward this time, so get really long, and then bring that underneath the left arm. Yeah, let's try and get a little different way to come into this. And then there's more options we can do from here as well. So you're more than welcome to just stay here. If you want, you can extend your left arm forward so that the arm is straight and you're pushing into the ground with that hand. And then another option for this, completely optional, is to straighten out your left leg. So you can bring the toes to the ground, straightening out the leg. And then even from there is an option to lift the leg up, but that's only if you want to challenge your core a little bit more. Awesome. You're gonna feel a little wobbly. Keep the back leg active. Great. Awesome. And then you can slowly bring that knee back down to the ground. Bring your hand back in front of the face, your left hand, and then push back up to center into tabletop. Cool. And then let's switch sides. So you can reach forward with the left arm and then reach under just to encourage extra length in the left side. Thread the needle on the other side. Reaching the right arm forward, maybe straightening out the right leg. And then again, always option to stay there. And if you want, you can start to lift your right leg up toward the ceiling. And really, as you do that, pushing your left shoulder into the mat, pushing the left side of your head into the mat. Stabilizing yourself with your core. Maybe falling. That's okay. And then when you're ready, slowly bring that knee back down to the ground. Bring yourself back to center, tabletop. And then bring yourself forward into puppy pose. Bringing the arms forward, melting the heart down. Chin or forehead resting on the mat. Take a moment to pause here. Every exhale, allow the front of your heart to melt a little bit closer to the mat. Pull the lower belly up toward the spine, finding some more length there. Beautiful. As you're ready, you can start to pull the navel up to the spine even more and walk your hands back about halfway to where they were before. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Keeping the knees as bent as you need, lifting the hips as high as possible. Doing any movements that you need to do in this first down dog. Waking up the hamstrings, maybe slowly letting each heel reach toward the ground. And try to focus on bringing your heart a little bit closer towards your thighs. And as you do that, remembering to feel as if your armpits are facing each other, and that broadens the shoulder blades. And also broadening the collarbones. So getting the fronts and backs of your shoulder blades as wide as possible. Maybe feeling as if a slight arch is forming in your lower back. So you lift your sit bones as high as possible. And you feel that extra length in the lower back. Beautiful. And now you can slowly step your feet up about a foot's distance and bring them as wide as your mat. And we'll come into that down dog twist. So you can find more weight coming to your left hand and then reach back for the outside of your left ankle with your right hand. Maybe looking up underneath your left armpit. Maybe putting a bend in that right arm, bringing you a little closer, really breathing, exhaling here. Next inhale, come back to center and switch sides. Feeling sturdy in the right hand, reaching for the outside of the right ankle with the left hand, taking big exhales as you start to bend your right or your left elbow, sorry. Then you can come back to center, bend the knees slightly and start to walk them forward into your standing forward fold. Letting the knees bend quite generously so that your belly can rest on the thighs. Focusing on the spine first and foremost. Letting the head drop, letting the arms dangle. Letting the face be soft as well. No tension in the forehead, in the jaw, the cheeks. Shifting the weight slightly more toward the balls of the feet. Encouraging the body to fold forward first and then down. Lift the sit bones a little bit higher, even with the knees bent. And focus on the space from your tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. Every exhale, allowing the space between the vertebrae to get a little bit longer. Let's take 3 more exhales. And then on your next inhale, you can slowly start to roll up the spine, coming up to stand. Roll the shoulders back at the top and bring the palms to face out in your mountain pose. You can let the blood settle, let your vision come back if it's left. And then let's activate our mountain pose. So root down through the soles of the feet, maybe lift the toes and really feel the edges of your feet, and then gripping the toes back down. Draw the inner thighs in and up toward each other as if you were squeezing something between the thighs. Let your fingertips reach toward the ground, opening up the chest and collarbones. Tailbone tucks down, finding a little more length in the lower back. And you're lifting up through the crown of the head so the back of the neck stays long. As you inhale, lift up through the crown of the head. As you exhale, ground down through the feet. Inhale, reach both arms up and over. Get nice and long through the side bodies. And exhale, hinge and dive forward, leading with the heart, flat back as long as you can, and then folding. Inhale to a long spine, halfway lift. Exhale to release, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand, reaching the arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do that again, this time adding in a twist. So as you inhale, lift the arms up. As you exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Keep your hips square to the front. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm back. Hips stay square to the front. Inhale, arms reach. Mom, you were frozen. Exhale, dive forward, leading with the heart. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale to center. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm back, hips stay square. Inhale to center, reach. And last time, exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Take 2 breaths here, let it go. You're frozen, Mom. I think it's your computer. Michelle's with me. Come downstairs. Okay. As you inhale, lift the heart, flat back. Exhale and fold. You can plant the hands down, step back to your plank position. You can stay in this plank for 2 breaths, always bringing the knees down if you need to. Really feel the core fire up. And then slowly bending the elbows alongside the ribs, maybe bringing the knees down for support. Lower yourself to your belly. Inhale to lift the heart, baby cobra. Exhale to release. Push yourself up through a plank if you'd like, through table, tucking the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Oh, I'm sorry, Mama. Letting it go here. When you're ready, bend the knees, look up and step up. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, rise up to stand, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pause for a moment here. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. And this time we'll inhale into chair pose. So inhale, hips sink down, arms reach up. Feel the length in your lower back. Bring the biceps up alongside the ears a little bit more and keep tucking the tailbone down. Inhale here. And then exhale, dive forward, straighten the legs, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Move through your vinyasa flow, and we'll meet in our down dogs. Take 2 breaths in your down dog. When you're ready, inhale, reach your right leg back and up. Keeping the hips square, reaching through that active right leg. And then bend your knee in toward the chest using your core. Shift shoulders to come over wrists and place the foot toward the top of your mat, maybe using the right hand to help it get there. Your back foot can come to warrior 1 legs and rise on up for warrior 1. Your hips are square to the front of your mat, inner thighs magnetically drawn toward each other. All corners of both feet firm on the mat. Maybe lifting the toes for a moment just to encourage that even further. Tuck your tailbone down toward the mat so you feel a stretch increase in your left hip flexor. Breathing here. And then as you exhale, you can bring your hands down, framing your front foot. Step back to your plank. Move through a vinyasa if you'd like, and we'll meet in our down dogs. As you inhale, raise the left leg back and up. Same thing as the other side, keeping that leg active, reaching from the core. And then use your core to pull that knee into the chest. You can imagine a cat spine as you shift your shoulders over wrists, place the foot toward the top of the mat, maybe using left hand to get there, and then rise up to your warrior one on the other side. So just getting your alignment right for this first warrior one on this side, lifting the toes, really feeling the inner thighs scissoring, coming toward each other. Perfect. Feel the outside edge of your right foot rooting down. Feeling that energy come up through the right heel, through the whole right leg, tucking down in the tailbone, stretching out the front of the right thigh. Beautiful. One more breath to reach. Inhale. And exhale, release. Frame the front foot. Step back to a plank. Move through a vinyasa if you'd like, and we'll meet in our down dogs. Bend the knees, look up and step up. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into chair pose, hips sink down, arms reach up. And then exhale, stand in your mountain pose. Straighten out the legs, release the arms. Let the blood settle. Let the breath return. This time we will do a similar flow and just add in some twists. So when you're ready, you can inhale into chair pose, hips sink down, arms reach up. And this time, let's exhale, hands come to prayer and twist to your right. So you can just twist from the upper body if you'd like, or you can hook the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. And keep pushing your hands back to the center of your chest because they're going to want to come up toward the right shoulder. And then even if you look down at the ground, see that your knees are in line with each other. You're going to feel like your right knee's coming forward and left knee's pulling back. Inhale, let's come to center. Just for a breath. Exhale, let's go to the other side. Right elbow hooks on the outside of the left knee. Breathing. And now feeling like your right knee's pulling back and your left knee's coming forward, just so that they're even. Breathing here. Pulling in the belly. Awesome. And let's inhale back to center. Exhale and release, forward fold. Let it go. Shake the head, yes and no. And now plant the hands down, step back, plank, move through a vinyasa, and we'll meet in down dog. Maybe sighing it out, maybe fluttering the lips. Just let it go. On your next inhale, raise your right leg back and up. And exhale to point the toes, stack the hips and bend the knee, opening up the hips to your right. Maybe looking under the right armpit for just a moment, and then looking back at the ground, squaring the shoulders to your mat. Level out the hips and extend the right leg as you inhale. And then exhale, cat spine as you curl the right knee toward the chest. Step the right foot to the top of your mat. Back foot comes to warrior one, legs and rise up, warrior one. Awesome. So we're going to add a fun little twist in our warrior ones. So it might be more helpful if you have a wider stance than usual, but you can try it out with whatever stance you're at so that your hips are square. And bring your right hand to your hip and then reach your left arm across so that it reaches across the right knee. And then maybe you bring your hands to prayer. You can hook your right elbow on the outside of your left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Hands come to prayer. Perfect. And yeah, if you're a little wobbly, you can always widen the stance. Stay with your breath here. One more. And then look down at the ground. Exhale as you bring your hands to the ground, framing the front foot. Step back to a plank. Move through a vinyasa if you want to, and we'll meet in our down dogs. When you're ready, inhale, left leg reaches back and up. Exhale, point the toes, stack the hips, bend the knee, open up. Maybe look under left armpit for a moment, and then look back to the ground, square the shoulders. Inhale, level out the hips, extend the leg long. Exhale, cat spine as you pull left knee toward the chest, shift shoulders over wrists, place the left foot to the top of your mat. Rise up, warrior one, other side. Take a moment to get settled here, feeling the legs settled. And then you can bring your left hand to your hip and then reach across the left knee with the right arm. And then hooking the right elbow outside the left knee, maybe bringing hands to prayer. And with the hands in prayer, continually trying to push the hands to the center of the chest, probably not getting there completely, but that is the goal. And really pulling, perfect, yeah. Pulling the navel into the spine gives a lot more space to twist. Keeping the back leg active. Awesome, one more breath. And then look down at the ground, release the arms. Step back to a plank. Move through a flow if you want. We'll meet in our down dogs. Taking a big exhale when you arrive. Let it go. Bend the knees, look up, step up. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment here. We will do one more flow on either side before we start to cool down. So when you feel ready, you can inhale into chair pose. Sink the hips down, lift the arms up. Exhale, hands come to heart center and twist to your right. So hooking the left elbow outside of the right knee. Perfect. And then option here to challenge yourself a little bit, look down at the ground, and then with balance and control, start to shift your weight into the right foot as you slowly step your left foot back into warrior one legs again. In the same pose we were just in, perfect. And then option to come into your high lunge twist, so you can rise your back heel off the mat and step it back a little bit to just extend that, perfect. Awesome, so good. Keep pushing the right knee into the elbow and the elbow back into the right knee. Awesome. And then you can look back at the ground and with control, slowly step your left foot back up. So good. Okay. Inhale to center. Exhale, let's keep this. So twist to your left. Challenging ourselves. Find your balance here. Start to get really strong in the left leg. Looking down at the ground for support. Slowly step your right foot back to your warrior one twist. Perfect. Keeping the inner thighs pulling in. Awesome. And then option to come into that high lunge twist. So coming onto the right toes, stepping the foot back a little bit more, stretching deeper in the right hip flexor. So good. Okay. Look back down at the ground with control. Step your right foot back up. Chair twist. Inhale to center. Exhale, forward fold. Let it go. Maybe shake out the legs. Maybe shake out the hands. Let it all go. Have some big, nice audible exhales for your body. Wonderful. And we'll start to make our way down to cool down. So you can just heel toe your feet a little bit wider than hips width distance and bring your toes to face out at 45 degrees angle away from you. Hands come back to prayer and the elbows come inside the knees. Inhale as you sink the hips down, lift the heart up, Malasana or yogi squat. Perfect. Always feeling free to adjust your stance once you arrive. And trying to bring your wrists so that they're even with the elbows. Perfect. And lifting the heart into the thumbs and trying to push the thumbs back toward the heart. Perfect. Squat. And then slowly you can point your fingertips forward and let your hips sink down. And let's come into a brief boat pose. So you can lift your toes off the mat. And the first level can be here. So your shins are parallel to the floor, arms reaching forward, or they can even be by your side if you want that. And then you can extend the legs straight if you want. You can reach the arms up alongside the ears for more of a challenge. It's very challenging. Let's take 3 more breaths wherever you are. You can even be like this, Mom. Yeah. 1 more. Perfect. Exhale, release the foot, or the feet to the mat. You can come into a butterfly pose. So the soles of your feet come together. And we'll be here just for 5 breaths. So you can just feel free to fully release, just like in a forward fold. Relax the face and the head. Let it go. And then slowly start to come back up to your seat. Grab the outsides of the knees, pull them in together, and give yourself a hug. And I want to show you guys this yin pose that I can't remember if I've taught before, but it's really nice. So you can grab the backs of your thighs when you're ready and slowly come down to lay on your backs. So this pose will be called cat pulling tail. So what you can do is reach your left arm up alongside the left ear. And then, let's see. And then start to roll onto your left hip. And then you'll scissor your right leg so that it comes in front of the left. And then you bend your left foot so it comes back toward the bum and you can reach hold of it. And then you start to bring your foot, your left foot and your right shoulder to the mat and extend your right leg long. That makes sense. Let's see if you're doing it right. Perfect. Yeah, so then the goal is to allow your right shoulder to come back down to the mat. So both of perfect. And if it's too much to hold on to the foot, you can release it and just reach toward it. And both of the feet, everything should be like relaxed toward the mat. It's called cat pulling tail. Oh, Mom, switch legs. So yeah, and then bend your, no. So lift your left arm up alongside the ear. Yeah, roll onto the left hip. And then scissor so that your right leg comes straight and reaches toward the wall, yeah. And then bend your left leg toward your bum, maybe grabbing hold of it with your hand. Yeah. Got it? Charlie horse. Cat pulling tail. It's fun. Let me know what you think of it in a second. Let's take 3 more breaths where you are. Awesome. And then to switch sides, let's just gently release any hold you had on that foot. Bring the hips back to center. Take a breath in the center for a moment, maybe windshield wiper, whatever you want to do. And then to switch sides, you can bring the right arm up alongside the ear and start to roll onto the right hip. And then straighten out your left leg, so pointing that at a diagonal away from you. And then bending the right leg, the bottom leg, so that it comes closer toward your bum, maybe grabbing hold of that with the hand. Great. And if it's too much, like your foot can relax. Yeah. So you don't have to hold on to the foot. You could always have a strap or just have it chill out there. It should feel good. If it feels like straining or like not good, then find a place. That looks perfect though. Yeah, both shoulders are relaxed onto the mat. Relax your jaw, relax your forehead. And notice any areas in the body that's straining right now. And just as you exhale, allow these areas to just release to where they naturally come. You don't have to strain to be in any position. And get right to that point where it feels slightly active, slightly maybe challenging, but it ultimately feels good. Throughout our yoga practice, if you're ever in a position that doesn't feel good, just come out of it. There might be some discomfort, there might be some tightness. As long as there's not pain, we are doing the pose. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Relaxing the outer edge of both hips. Relaxing both shoulders. Relaxing the stomach. And then gently you can release any grip you had on the bottom foot. Bring the legs to center, the lower back coming to the mat. And do whatever you'd like to reset. Maybe you hug the knees toward the chest. Maybe you windshield wiper the knees. Maybe you just find stillness. Whatever's calling to you. And then you can bring the soles of your feet back to the mat. And widen the feet so that they come as wide as your mat, and allow the knees to fall in toward each other. Feeling how this really releases the lower back. Feel the belly be soft. And bring one hand to the belly and one hand to your heart. As you breathe in, feel the hand on your belly rise. And as you breathe out, feel that hand fall. Breathing in now to the hand on the belly, and then letting that hand on the chest start to rise after. Letting the hand on the chest fall as you exhale, followed by the hand on the belly. Really just seeing the breath within your torso, rising and falling. Connecting yourself to the body, to your breath. When you feel ready, you can lift your feet, bringing them up toward the ceiling, maybe shaking them out for a moment, and then letting them rest in their sockets. Bringing the arms up to do the same. Feeling the entire length and width of your spine flat against your mat. Feeling all the organs in your belly settling back into place. Feeling the hands and feet growing lighter and lighter, the blood rushing away. Finding that area of stillness for 3 more breaths. When you feel ready to, and come into your happy baby. Finishing the class with the full expression of how we started the class. Maybe rocking side to side, maybe straightening out one leg, maybe straightening out both legs. Just letting the shoulders be on the mat, letting the hips be on the mat. If there's any poses that we didn't do today that you really want to do before Shavasana, you can do so. Whenever you feel ready to, you can come to rest in your final resting pose. Your final Shavasana. Letting your body surrender when you arrive. Releasing the need to be anywhere else other than where you are right now. Trusting that there's nothing else you should be doing, nothing else that should be happening, but resting here fully. As you exhale, picture and see every single thing in your body surrendering to gravity, resting on the back of your body. The scalp, the brain, the eyeballs, the throat, the heart, the ribs, the stomach, the glutes, the backs of the legs, and the heels. Imagining your body full of sand and letting all the sand rest at the back of the body. And you can start to picture a red light forming at the soles of your feet. As you begin to notice the warm pulsing sensation of the soles of both of your feet and each of your toes. And watch as this red light enters through the soles of the feet, travels up the ankles, up the calves and the shins, passing through the knees and the backs of the knees, the thighs, the hips and the glutes. Watching this red light come to the very root of your spine, right at your tailbone. As you feel that pulsing sensation here, feeling safe and secure and grounded. And now noticing An orange light forming at your lower belly and at the sacrum. Feeling your sacral chakra glowing in orange. Feeling the joy, pleasure, and creativity that is stored here. And now noticing a yellow light forming at the navel, growing to encompass your entire solar plexus, entire stomach. Maybe even seeing this light slowly rotating clockwise around the navel. Feeling this light bringing healing energy to your digestive system. Feeling self-worth and confidence stored here. And now noticing a green light, green emerald light forming at the chest is your heart center. Noticing the heartbeat. Feeling the pure love that you are here. Noticing a blue light in the throat center. Feeling honest communication with yourself and others. Relaxing the jaw, the cheeks, as you notice the indigo light forming at your forehead, at your third eye center. Feeling the pulsing sensation here. And then noticing a silver violet light at the very crown of your head. Feeling the pulsing here. Trusting your connection to source and your intuition. Feeling all 7 of your chakras open and clear and receptive. Just for a few more moments, resting here. If you would like to stay longer, as always, you're free to do so. If you're ready to make your way out of this, you can begin by deepening the breath. And then wiggling the fingers, toes, ankles, wrists, maybe rocking the head side to side. You can take a nice morning stretch, maybe letting out a nice big yawn. Making your way into a fetal position on one side when you're ready. Honoring this primal pose. The first pose all of us took in our lives. When you're ready, eyes staying closed just for now, making your way up to your seat. We'll meet with hands at heart center to close the practice. Thanking yourself deeply and fully for your practice this morning. May this continue to heal you throughout the rest of your weekend, and may you bring some of this love and light to everything you do and everyone that you see. Namaste.